Before a new hope emerges, in a galaxy far, far away. Before the creation of a devastating weapon known as the Death Star. And before a team of rebels known as Rogue One unite for the first time. An unsuspecting thief named Cassian Andor will be thrust onto a journey that sparks the birth of a rebellion and sets in motion everything you've come to know.
It's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
Well, it's a fantasy. It's not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. And it's about people. It's finally about people and not finally about science.
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of.
Sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny, works for good and also works for evil.
Marvelous, healthy innocence. Great pace, wonderful to look at, full of guts, nothing unpleasant. I mean, people go bang bang and people fall over and are dead, but, no horrors. A sort of wonderful freshness about it, kind of like a wonderful fresh air.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention.
And welcome back to Generation Skywalker and what is going to be the first of our special series dedicated to Andor. Now tonight I'm joined by the usual rabble, Dan Burgess. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm very good, mate. Looking forward to doing this.
Good stuff. I know you are. It's going to be awesome. And I'm joined by Peter Lee. Peter, how's it going, buddy?
Very good, very good. How you doing, Jez?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks for asking, mate. Lovely. And Stu Skinner, great to have you on board, bud. How are you doing?
I'm all good, mate. You?
Lovely.
You've answered that with everybody, haven't you?
I know. Four of us, here we go. But I am delighted that Generation Skywalker is once again being joined by Barry Gingell. How you doing?
I am very well. Thank you for having me. Forgive me, I'm going to call you up on it. It's actually Gingell.
See,
I would accept Jingle at Christmas, but it's Gingell the rest of the time.
Gingell, right. Dan, you owe me a tenner, right? Because just before you came on, we were double checking this, and Dan's like, "No, I got you. It's definitely Jingle." So, Baz, can you just?
I never said Jingle. I think I never said Jingle. What was Gingell?
Apologies. I'm gonna call you. What would you prefer, Baz or?
Just call me Baz, man. Yeah, Baz. That's that.
Yeah, awesome. But apart from those people who've listened to the show, which dropped on the 9th of June 2024, when we released a special Farthest From interview, people might be thinking, who is this Baz chap? Baz, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Baz. I am known for, very briefly, 4 seconds of fame, being Anto Kreegyr in the Andor TV series, Season 1, Episode 11, 16 minutes in. And also, I am the graphic designer on Andor and Season 2 also. So if you're watching it and you see that logo pop up at the beginning, that sort of Rebel Crest logo, that's mine. And lots of bits and bobs in the show.
Amazing. Baz, it's so good. You know, you were our guest at the Farthest From Christmas in 2023. We had you up on stage, and as I said, we released that interview where you spoke all about your Bazzy's language and everything else that you'd managed to sort of shoehorn in on the set. And what a great interview that was. So to have you recording with us on this show, and maybe even the subsequent shows which we're doing for Andor, is a real treat for us. So thanks very much.
Well, no, thank you for inviting me. It's fun.
Now, it's been a while since we've been recording, so I just wanted to do a quick icebreaker with the guys, and I'm going to put Baz on the spot as well. That whole snog, marry, avoid type thing, or, you know, people have spoken about different sort of terminology as well, which I'm not going to repeat here. But if we were to say, instead of snog, marry, avoid, if I were to say something along the lines of, I don't know, sing karaoke with, go for a drink with, and avoid from the Andor show. So I need 3 characters, folks. The Andor show, sing karaoke with, who would you want to go for a drink with, and who would you avoid?
I think the drink's the easiest one.
Go on.
That's Brasso.
Yes. Yeah.
The guy's a legend.
Yeah, and he's always got plenty of nog hanging around as well.
Yeah. No, he's a legend. He's there for Andor. He's there for Andor's mum. He's there for B2 Emo. What can't that guy do?
Yeah.
I really need this.
You insulted my choice of beverage. As host and provider, I was offended by this. You failed to gauge the depth of my irritation. You rose to make your point more vocally. I was helping you back into your chair when you fell. You were gone when I woke up. You've come in now to apologize. I accept your apology.
Hey, Brasso, let's go.
Do me this, whatever this is. When it's done, pull your boots on and get to work. You look like a wreck.
I knew I could count on you.
I'm not lending you any money.
I knew that too.
Tell your mother she can afford to put the heating on. It was freezing there last night. Make yourself useful.
Yeah, so definitely go for a drink with him. So whilst you're on then, who would you sing karaoke with? What character?
I mean, no one, because I ain't singing karaoke. I'm not inflicting that on anyone.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Dedra.
Ooh.
I think if she had a drink, she'd be fantastic. Plus, Denise is lovely.
Right.
I need a multi-sector data blend going back 2 years. The survey pool is Imperial naval bases and repair facilities. I want a record of all missing avionics, comm, navigation, and targeting equipment.
For which star system?
All star systems. Is that a problem? I'll need this report kept confidential, and a copy sent exclusively to my office. Can I rely on you for that level of discretion?
Absolutely. Yes. Can do.
Will do.
Will do.
Right. Get on with it.
Oh, so many things already I want to unpick. Right, okay, yeah, Dedra, yeah, a big favourite. And who would you want to avoid?
Syril's mum.
Yeah.
Eedy.
Oh,
she's a lunatic,
bash, isn't she? She really is. Yeah. Okay.
By the time you remember to sit up straight, it's too late. You might as well wear a sign that says, "I promise to disappoint you." Shame we couldn't have seen more of each other when you were flourishing. I'd have the memory to sustain me.
Well, you could have come anytime you wanted.
Any civilized being knows an open invitation is no invitation at all. My assumption is you have no prospects for the future.
All right then, so let's go to you, Dan.
I think I'm going for a drink with Bix.
Yeah.
I'm avoiding.
Yeah, I know why you've chosen that.
I couldn't sleep. But if it's not a good time...
No, not at all. I'm surprised.
Good.
Do you want something to drink, or?
No, I've had enough.
I'm avoiding Syril because
I don't know what's more disturbing, the fact that our corporate borders are unprotected or your complacence about it. Find it. Whatever it is, I want to know when it left and where it went.
You'd have to filter the entire night.
Well, if it's too much for you, let me know. I'm sure somebody wants the chair.
Karaoke. Oh, I think I'd go with. I might just go with Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor.
Hold on. I have an image.
Insurrection, destruction of Imperial property, assault on an Imperial soldier.
Right, okay.
It's a good song, yeah.
Yeah, all right then. Peter?
Oh, it's a tough one. 'Cause if I'm doing karaoke, I need to be pretty drunk anyway, so those two kind of combine. But I think going for a drink, Mon Mothma would be an interesting night out, I think.
Strong choice. Strong choice.
Mm-hmm. Drink up. Drink up the tea and keep smiling, as if we're having a happy chat about childhood days.
I'm not sure I understand.
No, you don't. Do you see what people say about me? It's a clear picture, isn't it? I'm a polite, sometimes indecisive senator who spends the days fighting and failing to protect separatist do-gooders, battle empire overreach. And irritation, as you so harshly put it.
I've made you angry.
No, you've set me free. I've been wondering all day how I could be sure of confiding in you.
I don't know what we're talking about.
It's a lie. The Mon Mothma people think they know. It's a lie. It's a projection. It's a front. Smile. I've learnt from Palpatine. If I show you the stone in my hand, you miss the knife at your throat.
Where's this going, Mon?
I think that could be an interesting night out. Karaoke. I'm going to go Luthen. I think he could deliver the lines. I think he could sing a tune.
I said I think of you constantly, and I do. Your investment in the rebellion is epic. The double life, every day a performance, the stress of that. We need heroes, Lonnie, and here you are.
And what do you sacrifice?
Calm. Kindness, kinship. Love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts.
Okay.
That scene when he dresses, getting ready to entrance back to Coruscant, and see him on stage. You can see that. Yeah, and avoid. Tim Carley.
She seems upset.
It's good to see you, Tim.
Seems like that happens every time you come around.
I wouldn't worry. She's tougher than both of us.
I'm getting tired of hearing that.
Then you better find yourself a less complicated woman. Good luck with that.
Oh, yeah. I want to stay away from him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
he's a bit of a wrong. Yeah.
Stu?
I'm going to agree with Pete. I think Luthen for a good old sing song. I could just see me and him around a piano singing Piano Man.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just picturing that. I'd like to take Cinta for a drink.
And there's Cinta Kars. She is stone cold and fearless. Probably the toughest one here.
Blaster burn needs to be cleaned. Apologies in advance. We're trying to save our pain meds.
Yeah.
Probably double date with Dan. And avoid. Yeah, I think it has got to be Syril's mum. I think Barry's hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Although I'd probably quite like to take her for a drink as well. So
I think she'd be funny, yeah.
And if the drink went well, probably have a sing song with her.
She nailed that. She was brilliant as that role.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, lads. Very nice. Okay.
What about you, Jez? I'm sure you've thought about this long and hard while you've been chuckling to yourself.
I didn't need to think about it for that long and not that hard. So for me, again, karaoke, not my thing at all. I've only done karaoke twice. There was booze involved on both occasions. I definitely like to do karaoke with Bix. Because I think we'd probably do that thing where we'd be doing a big sort of duet number, and as part of that, she'd put her arm around me. And that's all I want. That's all I want in the world. From a drink, I want to know more about Nemec. I want to sit down with that guy and I just want to listen to what he's got to say, because I loved some of his stuff.
Struggling to understand why my faith doesn't calm me. I believe in something. Why am I so unsettled? I mean, you have nothing. You sleep like a stone. I write when I can't sleep. Wrote about you last night. Not you, specifically, not Clem. Although I'm assuming that's not your real name anyway. The role of mercenaries in the galactic struggle for freedom. My conclusion is simple. Weapons are tools. Those that use them are, by extension, functional assets that we must use to our best advantage. The Empire has no moral boundaries. Why should we not take hold of every chance we can? Let them see how an insurgency adapts.
And who would I avoid? Well, Claire, the partner in Luthen's shop, because she's clearly, she's behind a lot of that. She's keeping Luthen in check, and she scares me. She massively scares me. So I know that she's on the right side, but I just want to get on her wrong side, if you know what I mean.
I gave him Aldani. What have you done lately?
I don't have lately. I have always. I've a constant blur of plates spinning and knives on the floor and needy, panicked faces at the window, of which you are but one of many.
Yeah, I'd probably want to avoid Claire. So, yeah. Our little icebreaker, we're sort of all warmed up a bit now, and I think we're ready to talk a little bit about Andor. Andor. Some have called it the prequel to Star Wars, the show that no one knew that we needed. If this series, first aired September the 21st, 2022, the first 3 of a 12-show series. Now this followed the thief-turned-rebel spy, Cassian Andor, during the year is BBY5, including flashbacks of when he was a child. Now, according to Star Wars, of when he was a 9-year-old child. I know there's a lot of disagreement about that online, but Series 1 and subsequently Series 2 leads to the events of Rogue One, which in turn leads to what we now know as A New Hope. And it explores how Cassian became radicalized against the Galactic Empire and how the wider Rebel Alliance is formed. But how did this first come about? We as Star Wars consumers first saw Cassian Andor in Rogue One in December 2016. But who knew back then that less than 2 years later, we would be getting a rather significant announcement?
Diego Luna's returning to Star Wars, and we have the first details. Hey there, Star Wars fans. Andy Gutierrez from The Star Wars Show with some late-breaking Star Wars news. Moments ago, during an earnings call, Disney chairman and CEO Bob Iger announced that Lucasfilm is currently in development on a second live-action Star Wars series for Disney+, the company's new direct-to-consumer streaming service. The new series follows the adventures of Rebel spy Cassian Andor prior to the events of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, during the formative years of the rebellion. Best of all, Diego Luna is returning to reprise his role as Cassian. In a quote for StarWars.com, Luna stated, "Going back to the Star Wars universe is very special for me. I have so many memories of the great work we did together and the relationships I made throughout the journey." Adding, "We have a fantastic adventure ahead of us, and this new exciting format will give us the chance to explore this character more deeply." The rousing spy thriller will explore explore tales filled with espionage and daring missions to restore hope to a galaxy in the grips of a ruthless empire. The series will go into production next year, and a release date has not yet been announced. And for more breaking Star Wars news from around the galaxy, make sure to check out the Star Wars Show this Wednesday and every Wednesday at noon. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. And Diego, if you need like a distant cousin in the rebellion, you know, just give me a call. Totally do that for you.
So lads, Andor had been announced. Now, when you first heard this announcement, be honest, did you think that this was needed? What were your thoughts with regards to, you know, characters and the Andor show?
Well, I think I've not made any secret. I think we've been doing this for years now, and I've always said that Rogue One's probably my favourite. It was, even from the very start, Rogue One was my favourite kind of Disney output of Star Wars, above and beyond all of the sequel trilogy and Solo and everything else they'd put out up until then. So, although I think it was a surprise they went with Andor, you know, with all the other Star Wars characters they could have gone with, you know, you got a Kenobi, yeah, that makes sense. They've done Book of Boba Fett, yeah, that makes sense. Andor seemed a bit of a minor character in the kind of the annals of Star Wars lore. But yeah, I was glad because I bet you immediately think it's going to be K2SO is going to be in there as well, and he was one of my favourite things of Rogue One. So I was up for it for sure.
Cool. Okay. Baz, I'm going to come to you though, because you know, at what stage, from hearing about Rogue One to getting the call to being on the production itself as a designer, because I know that came before your extra work as Anto Kreegyr.
Yeah.
You know, what were your thoughts of this? Because there's no secret you were a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, massive, man. So I was actually, when they were doing like the second round of shooting at Pinewood, I was there on a movie called The Commuter. It's actually a good movie, and people should check it out, on a train. So I would deliberately, when I was walking around the studio, I would deliberately walk past them, and they'd be like, the Yavin base was there, I think in A stage, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's an X-Wing fighter, and I just would like just hang out and just look and tell security, like, jog on, son. But I loved Rogue. I thought it was brilliant. And then when I heard about them doing the show, I was my interest obviously was a little different, because I was like, I wonder if I can get on it. But at that time, it was a very different entity. It had a different code name. At the time, they were crewing up to shoot in Dagenham, if I remember correctly. And everyone was like, well, we're not going to Dagenham. And they couldn't get any crew. It was just too far from like the studios and everything. And I heard it was crewing up and it was happening and all this. And I was like, oh, I've missed my boat. I'm on a TV show called Pennyworth, which not many people have seen. I was on season 1 of that. Right. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I can get on board. But it felt like it slipped away. I'm going off topic a bit. I don't know if you're interested, if it's relevant for when I go onto it. But it was basically my buddy Luke, who's the production designer. Me getting on it first came about in 2019 when I went for dinner with him, and he's like, look, I've got this interview thing coming up. Like, if I get it, do you want to do it? And I'm like, yes, I do. And we booked dinner for a couple of weeks afterwards. It happened to be the day he got it. So we went out to, celebrate. He's like, we're doing this Star Wars TV show.
Amazing.
And my mind was blown. And I had a little cry in the car. I was that happy about it. But when it got announced, I did have this dream, man. Like, oh, I wonder if I can get on it. And it happened.
Well, I think we're definitely going to have to talk about Anto Kreegyr more in a later episode when we possibly cover that particular show. So, yeah, fantastic.
Anto Kreegyr. I want you to meet him.
Anto Kreegyr.
He's been probing the Imperial Power Station at Spellhouse. He's found a weakness in the defenses. It may take some time to work up, but he's got an angle.
The man is an ox. Slow and stupid.
And strong.
So this was in November 18. It was announced. You've just heard the Star Wars show reel there. So Dan, just talk us through what actually happened, because the course of filmmaking doesn't appear to run smooth, does it, when it comes to Star Wars in particular? Because there was a bit of a showrunner changeover, wasn't there?
So there was a chap called Stephen Schiff, who was the original showrunner. He actually wrote episode 7 in the end. Outside of of Andor. He's most known for writing a number of episodes of The Americans. I don't know if you've seen that show. It's about some Russian secret agents living in the US, and he had a co-writer credit on Rogue One as well. So the show that he pitched was more, from what I can gather, was more a Andor and K2SO buddy show, and it was going to be adventure of the week type thing. I think it was still originally pitched to be a 5-year show, taking place over the 5 years leading up to the events of Rogue One. But at some point, Tony Gilroy had been passed the concept of the show and asked to give his thoughts on it, and he came back with a lot of different ideas. And I think Lucasfilm ended up liking those ideas more, and we ended up with the show that we've got today.
It's crazy how that worked out, wasn't it? Just for some reason, giving the guy the punt and just saying, what do you think of this? And almost had two sort of parallel paths going on there. Baz, have you got anything else to add to that? Is that anything else that you're aware of?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's really anything to say. Like, the previous code name was actually Whitesnake. Wow. You know how we became Pilgrim, but previously it was Whitesnake. So when I went for Luke was like, I want you to do it, but I can't just give you the job. You've got to come in to interview with the set decorator and the supervisor, art director, and just meet them. And I can't just give it to you. So I came in and everything was like Whitesnake. And they were in this tiny little building before it had all got going. At that point, it was still very much Luke and Tony were just like coming up with stuff. Like, that's one of the things with Andor that a production designer doesn't often get, but got on this, was Tony recognised just how smart Luke is and brought him in really early.
Right.
So when he's writing and spitballing ideas, Luke's there scribbling on a napkin. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, we could do this, and well, then they'll need this entrance, and we'll have to have this, and then the camera can be up here, and it's all happening together. And I think Tony really, really appreciated that, and I know in season 2 that was even more so.
Wow.
Yes, I mean, I only knew it when Tony was on board.
Right. Yeah.
And I like him. I like Tony a lot, actually. He's a lot of multi-millionaire showrunners are not going to talk to oiks like me, but that's not Tony. He's just a real nice, friendly, personable guy. And when you have meetings with him, it's hard to explain. You don't get it often, but he's just actually, and I'm not saying this to, like, it doesn't better, like, it's weird for me to say it, not very English of me, but the guy's just like a leader, right? You have this meeting with him, he'll sit down and goes, we're doing this, how about this? And like, people are free to go, what about this? What about this? He's like, cool, great, let's do it. Da-da-da. And you leave and you just can't wait to just get on with it. It just gives you energy, man. He's special. That's my feeling.
That's brilliant. And when I was sort of agreeing and nodding with you just now, and it was just after you said, talking to an oik like me, that wasn't me referring to you as an oik. That was I just want to make sure that you
no, I
appreciate that.
Quite happy to refer to myself. Oik.
That's great that he can have that sort of lasting impression on you.
Oh no, definitely. The guy's great, and he's not a massive Star Wars fan. Like, I think he's made no secret of that. But funnily enough, his daughter is, and I showed his wife around this, a bit about the set one time. I think around Mon Mothma's embassy. I was sort of showing him around and stuff, and like, she's a big Star Wars fan. He was just like, I like doing it for her.
Awesome, wow, brilliant. So okay, we're going to go on as our shows develop and as we cover across the arcs. We're going to be talking more about cast and crew and who we had, because this was vast. You've just spoken about the change of showrunner from Schiff to Gilroy, and the fact that you said that Schiff stayed on to, what was it, episode 7, Dan? That
yes.
He did?
Yeah.
But from a cast and crew point of view, this was phenomenal. We had over 200 named characters, over 190 speaking parts. Pretty fantastic, pretty vast from that point of view. And whilst we're talking about the actors, what about your general thoughts on the quality of acting from a standout performer's point of view? I'm sure that we've got favourites. We've already mentioned several earlier on. I'm quite happy to go last because there's 190 to choose from. But with regards to, you know, actors who you really thought, wow, that person knocked it out of the park, what do you think?
God, there's so many. I know the script is outstanding, and that obviously makes it easier. But I don't. There's no one. If you look at it, the flip side, there's no bad performances, are there? I think everyone just nails it. But just to also throw a few in there, but Anton Lesser is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Stellan Skarsgård, that is one of the standout. I know he's like one of the lead characters, but the Luthen character and how it's played is so good. And some of the dialogue, especially if you get kind of closer towards the end, is just phenomenal. He just like absolutely nails it, and you're just so on board with all of them. They're all so believable, and that's just down to the portrayal and the script. But yeah, those two are good. Just look at Fiona Shaw absolutely nails it as well, doesn't she? It's just
Yeah, we could just leave you now reeling off names. I'll come to Stu. Stu, in particular, was there anyone who you just thought I wanted more, or I loved what I got from that individual?
I don't think more. I mean, Stellan Skarsgård, Luthen's character, is probably one of the most complex characters you've seen in Star Wars. I think it's a top 5 Star Wars character. I think he's incredible, and obviously so much more depth of him. I really, really enjoyed Denise Gough.
Yeah.
As Dedra. I mean, I know she's wasn't a Star Wars fan, was she, before? But I thought she absolutely nailed it. The only one that I kept expecting something. Now, Lee Ross, who played Mon Mothma's driver, I always relate him to the Catherine Tate show when Catherine Tate's telling the stories of what she's done during the day, and he's going, what you like, and I'm just waiting for that all the time whenever he was driving her, kind of like whenever she says something. It's like, what do you like? Yeah.
I felt bad for him because they actually never built the door in that car. He had to get in through a ladder in the roof every time.
Yeah, it's just one of those faces, you know, you place somewhere. You know, like that.
Is he Grange Hill and EastEnders? He's got lots of history, isn't he?
He was in EastEnders as well, Lee Ross.
EastEnders, was it?
But yeah, I always just relate him to Catherine Tate.
Dramarama was his first credit.
Dramarama. Yeah, there's a flashback. Okay, yeah, lots of English British actors in this. Yeah, okay, yeah, Dramarama. Who else? What else are you thinking then?
I think Stellan is definitely he's the top draw. He's the go-to character for me. But if I had to pick another, probably Syril, the guy that played Syril Karn.
Yeah.
You know, I bet he's really a nice guy in real life, but he's just a complete arsehole in the show. I think it's fair to say.
He's lovely.
Obviously, you would have met him, Baz, but you see him on the sort of autograph circuit now, and I think I saw him at a couple Showmasters events.
Well, we truthfully I didn't interact with the actors as much as I normally would have done because we were shooting over COVID.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think I started for, I think I did, I can't remember if it's 5-6 weeks, I can't remember, a few weeks, and then we stopped for 4 months, and then we came back, and we were one of the first canaries down the coal mine for like how this could work through COVID, and I was tested every day because we were considered sort of on set and doing bits and bobs and mixing with the actors, but we didn't mix with them in the way that we would do if it hadn't been, you know, the pandemic.
Barry, do you think any of the casting was what's the best way to say it? There's a lot of British actors in the show who you recognise who have been in a lot of stuff. You know, you got Paul Truman as Cassian's dad, and you're like, well, he's a blast from the past. Was that an influence of COVID? Did they have to pull from the UK more than they probably would have done otherwise?
No, I don't think so. That I'd never heard that as a chat. Right. Okay. I mean, not being funny, Tony would have got who he wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it worked. But I think when you are in the UK and, you know, you say to the casting agent, I want people, then that's who they get you because they've got them on the books. But I don't remember ever there being a conversation about like, this guy's got to be American or this person can't be. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just the right person for the gig. And I think, you know, I mean, there definitely was an element of like Americans didn't come and see us, like production in the way that they probably would have done because of COVID. But I don't know if that runs to actors. I don't think so.
Okay.
Dan, you said Paul Truman being Andor's dad. It's Gary Beadle, wasn't it? Paul Truman was the character he portrayed in EastEnders. So you're getting your actors.
I know. I'm being facetious.
Oh, wait,
I've got all this written down, mate. You won't catch me out.
I just had to Google it. I was like, who on earth's Paul Truman? You can tell I'm not an EastEnders fan. Right, yeah, okay.
He was in EastEnders for 375 episodes.
Yeah, I've probably seen about 4. Fair enough. So, not wanting to put you on the spot, Baz, because I'm sure that a lot of the actors who were in Andor listen to Generation Skywalker, and you don't want to offend any of them. But who would your favourites be?
The thing is, like, all the ones you've said, they are great. Like, Denise Gough was incredible. Fiona Shaw was incredible. Stellan Skarsgård's incredible. Carl Stoller was incredible. Like, Diego was brilliant. Like, it isn't a bad one. I mean, for me, one of them is Genevieve O'Reilly. Mm-hmm. She is brilliant. Like, when she's on, you can't take your eyes off her. She's fantastic. And she's probably, certainly from season 2, the person the actor I spoke to the most and had chats with. And she is a delight. No two ways about it. She is lovely. I really rate her. She's brilliant. But one actor you got to call out that no one said is Andy Serkis. Mm-hmm. He was brilliant, and like what he brought was something I don't really see often. Right? He came to set and made everyone around him better.
There's the quality. Yeah.
He it's hard to explain, right? Even in the rehearsals, he was like grabbing people and smashing up against the wall. Do you know what I mean? Like those scenes in the prison. And he wasn't holding back. And it was like, right, he's not holding back. I'm not going to hold back. And everyone kind of upped their game a little. You could feel it. You really could sense it. He's special. And he's lovely. He very happily signed my Lord of the Rings map that I do. I'm trying to get everyone to sign it, but that's another story. I interrupted his lunchtime, and he was happy to do it. He's real nice.
Did you get him to do Gollum?
I've got Gollum back from when he was doing the circuit back in like 2001, 2002. He did a ringtone for me back then as well. But I got him to do me the Black Series Snoke on Throne.
Right.
So he signed that for me as well. But he was special. Like, just the energy on set when he was on set was different.
Bro, nice. I mean, that thanks for that insight, because that is really, really cool to hear. I don't know. I mean, I could go through loads. There's some characters I'm just like, I just want to watch that person more and more and more. Even like some ISB characters, Major Partagaz, when he holds court, it's just brilliant. I love that. But I just like Alex Ferns, Sergeant Mosk.
Oh, he's brilliant.
And I think his relationship, I think he played maybe a stereotypical senior NCO, but that senior NCO versus officer dynamic, I just thought was so on point, was really, really good. But I do think one of my favourites, because I think he's a wonderfully sort of unique actor, is Alex Lothar, the person who played Nemec. And as I said, I think it's probably just partly due to the writing, but his everything from his stammer to the way in which he puts everything across with passion. And even when he sees Andor as not who he initially thought Andor was, he as a character, and the way in which he brought it all together, I thought that was excellent. I mean, we've got a field of outstanding talent there, and we're spoiled for choice, aren't we, when it comes down to pick your favourite.
And who was the inspector for the Preox Morlana Corps? That guy that just like delivers those lines perfectly, like they were where they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
but they were murdered. That guy was was perfect and just laid it out exactly perfectly. I was like, man, this guy's great.
Again, that's another classic, been around for a while actor. I mean, we've none of us have mentioned Forrest Whitaker, have we?
I've got a printout here. It's got Chief Hine, Rupert Van.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was great. Yeah, and I forgot. Yeah, you like you say, Forrest Whitaker. I forgot Forrest Whitaker. Him and Luthen's speech when they're talking about like sacrificing Kreegyr.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
This show's brilliant. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a bunch of memes that went around at the time when and it was like Mando fans when like he pulls his gun or a lightsaber or whatever, and like the crowd goes wild, and then it was like you cut to the ISB and the Andor fans go wild. That was like our lightsabers popping, you know. We're in the ISB and he's giving them a briefing. It's exciting. The fact that got people going was brilliant.
Yeah,
they're so good, those scenes.
And, you know, we could do an entire podcast dedicated, you know, Perrin, Mon Mothma's husband. Oh, I couldn't stand him. He was brilliant. so well done.
You shouldn't have invited them without making sure I was aware.
Well, it's a bit late to cancel. But at your pleasure.
Well played, Perrin. And no, I'm not being serious. Don't seat them near me.
Oh, I've taken care of that. You're at the boring end of the table. These people are fun.
Considering now that it's a known entity how much there is, you know, we'll come on to it. It's not for everyone. Star Wars is very much like a banquet that, you know, we can dip in and out of stuff we like, stuff we don't like. It's very much appreciated, I would say, by a good proportion of people. There's some people who it just wasn't for them, and Lucasfilm probably knew it wouldn't be from the beginning because, you know, there's more to this show than just Jedis and lightsabers, obviously. But now you know that there's such a fan base. Is there been anything, and I know we're not going to be asking you questions clearly about season 2 because we know that you can't answer anything about season 2.
I'd like to work for them again.
Yeah, exactly. But do you think as a consumer we'll probably get more behind the scenes things, or maybe more books or anything, because people like to know more? You know, you like to contribute, you like to add these details because, as you said, you know, it's Star Wars, and the Star Wars junkies want to lap it all up, but sometimes there's a lack of it and we want more. Do you think that much will get produced about Rogue One? About Andor?
I would think that as it was so popular, my sense as a consumer would be surely there'll be some extra bits and bobs. But all I would say is that they shot a lot of behind the scenes stuff on season 1, a lot, and it hasn't seen the light of day. There's like a tiny bit on the Blu-ray extras, and I do appear in that for a heartbeat, and I didn't notice myself.
Where are you? Because I watched this 5 on there, isn't it? They're about 10 minutes long each. Which one are you on?
I'm in the Narkina prison bit. I'm wearing a cap and I'm in a light blue jumper. But the funny thing is, I didn't spot myself.
Right.
But there's a Twitter account called Andor News, run by a lovely person called Savvy, who I met at Celebration. Actually, she got in contact with me and I met her at Celebration a few years ago. Had a lovely chat with her. But she's like doing this Twitter account, Andor News, where she puts out all the stuff about Andor. It's great. But she actually sent me a screengram and going, "Look, I found you." And I was like, "Am I that guy?" And she's like, "No, that's not you." And I was like, "No, that isn't me." And I was right at the back. I don't know how she spotted me. That's bonkers. But that's as close as I'm getting to fame in the behind the scenes extras. But they shot, I don't know how many hours of footage and interviews with people and stuff, and it hasn't seen the light of day. And I don't know anything about it. I'm just hoping, as a consumer, that it will see the light of day. We will see something, because the other shows have had like a behind the scenes thing on Disney Plus. So I'd love it if Andor got a little love like that. It deserves it.
Well, this is absolutely a great opportunity for me just to drop something in the chat now. I'm just going to go off piste slightly with regards to the notes that I sent everyone, because it was well before we got the teaser trailer, well before we got the full trailer, that there was a sizzle reel dropped on the 10th of December 2020 to really wet the whistle about what was going on behind the scenes.
Everything I did for the rebellion. Rogue One in many ways. It's a film that connected new audiences with the oldest fans. It was a bittersweet feeling, you know, on the premiere, knowing that it was just one film. But then magic happens, right? As you can see, we're getting ready. We're building stages, we're rehearsing, we're training, we're trying costumes, we're doing everything to make sure we do the best show. I'm really excited having the chance to explore Cassian. It's really fun to go on a set that is emulating something you like so much.
The enormity of this is like doing a big feature film.
It's very cinematic. For me, that's where the excitement is.
12 episodes, 12 scripts, over 200 named cast members, over 6,000 crowd people, a lot of creatures that come in from the creature department.
We treat this exactly like we would a film. There is no difference in our approach.
Every creature and droid that we've been building has the same care, level of attention to detail as the previous films.
It's huge, it's thrilling, but also it's wonderfully challenging.
There's tons of possibilities to explore. It is the building of a revolution.
What a great logo.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing that.
Oh, did you not?
No, like when that dropped, I was on Ferrix. I was at the Ferrix set when that trailer dropped.
Right.
Watched it, got to the end, saw there was the logo that we'd done in I think it was March, at the behest of Disney. They were having some day and they just wanted a little logo, and it didn't make it, but it was never meant to be like the show logo.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that it's all rocky and stony is, at the time, Tony had come to us and said, I kind of want graffiti everywhere, like pro-rebel graffiti. And it was on brick. So when we drew that little Andor thing and I took the O out and popped my logo in, that's what it was. We sent it off, and the next thing I know, it's on their little sizzle trailer. I couldn't believe it.
So that's got to feature pretty prominently in your CV, hasn't it? I'm sure.
Well, I'm trying to get examples of it, because that logo obviously died out, but no one told Disney. So a bunch of merch got made with that on.
Nice.
So I've got some badges. There's some T-shirts. There was some jumpers that were sold in Disneyland, Florida, which I don't have. But the Christmas gift that year for the Lucasfilm employees was a record player, and it's on the side of the record player.
Oh, wow.
So I did manage to get one of those at, I think, an Echo a couple of years ago.
Would you believe it? Really? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sizzle trailer, which came out well before the teaser, because it was very much a behind the scenes, and I'm sure that started to whet the appetite. But it wasn't until the 26th of May 2022 that we got the teaser trailer.
They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied.
They're everywhere. They're watching me now.
Soon enough, these days will end. There will be no rules going forward.
People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
Love it. Where's the season 2 trailer, Baz? When are we getting that?
I know, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. That sizzle was great though. That little over the shoulder quick cut. And then that's what a reckoning sounds like. Oh, that was good.
Mm-hmm. Let's start talking about the timekeeper man though. Because
yeah.
I remember when that started, when I first saw that, and I saw this dude come up and do that whole thing on what looked like a massive anvil of Beskar or what have you. And it was just like, whoa, this is new. And I think there was so much focus online about Timekeeper Man and the throat music. What else did you guys see or think with regards to that teaser?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because you know now what it's going to be. But
Exactly.
At the time, it was kind of like, I don't remember it being that like, oh God, I need to see this. But then there's some beauty shots, like the guy jumping in a TIE fighter. But in the actual show itself, that looks amazing with the eye of Darnie behind him as he's climbing down the ladders and getting in the TIE fighter.
Yeah.
It was hard to know what it was about. You didn't know any of the characters. There was no real voiceover than the other characters, you know, saying a few lines from the show. So it was a hard one to get. I think it was more to give you a feeling of what the show was going to look and feel like than anything else.
We've just been talking about the characters. I mean, I think it was just saying 200 named characters in that sizzle reel. You've just seen no end of them in that little teaser trailer, and so many different locations. You don't really appreciate it until you re-see it now, but it jumps from every area. You're seeing it all.
I can tell you, it was bonkers doing that many locations. Like the TV show like that is harder than the movies, man, because you are less contained, and you're not doing 2 hours of a movie. You're doing, 12 times 40 or whatever it was. Like it was hard. It was hard. Like so many sets, so many moves, so much stuff. Like when we were in Ferrix, it was so much easier because when they were there for a while, so you had time to like come up for air and like just start and try and get the other sets done.
Mm.
Yeah, it was crazy. But just that timekeeper, his hammers and the anvil actually came from some 2D designs that I did on a flag that was going to be in the factory where Luthen meets Andor.
Right.
Yeah.
Originally, that was a very different look. And yeah, Luke wanted this giant flag hanging down like a massive flag. And I'd cut it in around this shaped door, and it was going to flutter, it was going to be ripped, it was going to be cool. And then it got cut. But some of the designs from that flag, I'd done these anvils and hammers, just these sort of very graphic symbols. And I gave those to James, the concept prop designer, and he turned it into like the anvil and hammers that we got. And they look great. And I remember Bobby, the painter, had to paint that up to look like Beskar. That was a nightmare for him. So when I watch that, that's all I think about, like those meetings. But the symbol on that flag actually came on to be the Daughters of Ferrix symbol, the one that we chose and we were going to get made, which didn't. Michael came to me and said, "Have you got any symbols I can use?" And I was like, "Well, I've got this." And it became the Daughters of Ferrix, which is quite cool.
This is such a cool behind-the-scenes glimpse at how things like this work. That's ace.
You draw so much stuff on Star Wars, and even if suddenly it's not used, there'll be a time to use it.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, you could very much say, like with Carrie Fisher and Rise of Skywalker, loads of stuff left over there from Force Awakens, I guess. Well, what I saw in that, 1 minute 54 trailer was its vastness with regards to the primitive Kenari through to space and tech in Metropolis and everything else. the pressure, the intensity, the clanging of tins, which was then linked to the music as well, to the percussion within the music. So two completely separate things, but brought together really beautifully in the teaser. And that clanging of tins is very much a sort of a resistant singer. Hey, we're getting this message out as rapidly as we can with whatever sort of rudimentary things we've got in our hands. It was believable. That's my point. Everything about this is believable. About, they're everywhere. People are standing up. Yeah, just really, really lots going on, and it did absolutely whet my appetite.
They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied.
The way the ISB pops up, you've got this darkness, and suddenly there's this bright, clinical white. That set was gorgeous, and every time you went there, you knew that scene was going to be hot.
Yeah. Everything about the ISB when they're all together. What I love about it, we'll come on to it when we discuss the arcs more, but the relationships between the junior officers as well. I think it's Blevin, I think his name is off the top of my head, between Blevin and the Dedra character. Just they're on the same side, but they hate each other because they want to both climb the greasy pole and they're each other's threat. And it's just, that is brutally real in some scenarios, and it's just so well done. So
yeah.
Good. Right, so that was the teaser, and then it was on August the 1st. So what the first one said, original series streaming 31st of August. What this next, the main trailer will tell us is that the whole thing got slipped by 3 weeks, for various reasons. But they weren't afraid to do that. What I think is, again, really positive, not holding themselves to a delivery date. It's like, no, it was going to be 31st of August. Now it's going to be 21st of September. But we'll just go over to the main trailer now.
To steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor, the Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting. You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief? You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like.
I'm tired of losing.
Can we go and watch it again? Like the whole show.
That's a good trailer.
It's epic. There's so much new and old stuff from the teaser trailer, but Andor, more Andor sort of talk over and narration to that. But I love it. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house. Empire's choking us so slowly with Star not to notice. All of that sort of stuff is just building the tension. It's brilliant. Yeah,
that line when he says, and he said it in both trailers about that. So fat and satisfied. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is, but it sticks with me when I think of that show. It's the line that I think of. He's I'm not going to swear, but it's like a proper F you. I want to F you up, Empire. And he's like a proper got a beef for him.
Yeah, it's the disdain which he believes
he says it with,
that they. Well, not only he says it with, but it's just he later on sort of says about they don't care. They really, really don't care what we think or what we do. They don't care, and the whole no one's listening because they just don't care. They don't need to. But when you see some familiar things in there as well, so you've got the Saw Gerrera, you've got two tubes, you've got the
tubes,
and Star Destroyer.
You've got a Stormtrooper.
Yeah. But Mon Mothma, that whole, as long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing. And then you've got, what I do, and says Tay, and then, Claire, this is what revolution looks like. Yeah.
I tell you what, I know you mentioned it, Barry, as well, about the Luthen monologue and how great that is. I tell you what is another really good Luthen scene, and it's so subtle. It's when he's on his way back to Coruscant and he's putting his wig on and his rings, and he's becoming that character of the antiques dealer, and he turns around and he forces a smile on his face and raises his hands and like as if he's greeting someone just to get into character. It's just for me, he is like the Emperor in this show. He's like the anti-Emperor almost.
I hadn't considered that before. That's really smart. I like that.
It's so good. We'll talk about it more when we go through the shows, but I've got loads to say about him.
So that scene, he had a drawer full of spy stuff.
Right.
Like Martin, the prop master, gave him loads of stuff, and we did loads of ID badges, like different aliases that he could be like the James Bond of Star Wars, hopping about with all these different passport ID badges or chain code things. But we don't see him. We don't see him. I don't think. But we tried hard.
Those shelves
Go on, Pete.
drop down, and those shelves, how they drop down for all his different stuff. You kind of think there's just so much going on in the background in that ship.
Yeah,
as well.
that was Mark Harris. Mark Harris was the art director for that ship. Mark's like so Mark was actually an art department assistant on, I believe, Empire Strikes Back. He's been doing it that long. And he's just one of the best there is at what he does. And he was in charge of that set, and he did Cassie, like young Cassie in that ship with all that metal. That was crazy. Look good. He just does space. He worked on Aliens.
Okay.
He just does
the original Aliens.
Yeah.
Movie. Oh, very good.
Mark Harris is
legend.
I love to just walking past his office and just like, hi, can you just drop some knowledge bombs on me? And he's just like the way your nan's got like a biscuit tin. He's just like, oh, let me just see what I've got in here. Oh, here's a set of negatives that James Cameron gave me, and I developed them, and this is what the photos are. And you're like, what are you doing? The guy's great. He did a great job on those.
Amazing. You said about the James Bond of the Star Wars world. Well, he certainly had a James Bond spaceship, didn't he, with the Fondor, which I think is just an awesome ship. But yeah, you're right. It's a great point what you said, Dan, about the antithesis. The good version of the Empire, of the Emperor.
The Emperor.
He is a puppet master in so many respects, isn't he? He's at the center of the spider web. Just
he says in that monologue, I have to use the tools of my enemy. That is the deception, isn't it? It's the hiding in plain sight and corrupting from within.
Yeah.
So the Fondor ship, Luke and I actually had quite a few discussions about what that ship should like. Well, not what it should look like. He was pretty set on that, but paint schemes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually did a few, and each one I was like, do you know what, mate? They're wrong. Like, if this ship's meant to be hidden, let's just leave it blank. And we did, and that was the discussion.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's meant to be this secret, stealthy, no one's really noticing. And if you whack some giant, here, have some giant red stripes, then it's like, it's an identifier.
Yeah.
So it was deliberately clean.
Oh, I love it, and yeah, we'll cover that later, I'm sure. Great trailer, and all the time, as I said, it slipped by 3 weeks, but you've got the text in that trailer just saying "witness the beginning," and then the next one just says "of rebellion." So yeah, and we were all eager.
I don't know what you guys think, but my sense at the time was no one was betting on Andor. Like, it wasn't Book of Boba Fett, it wasn't Mando, it wasn't Obi-Wan. It just no one was that bothered. And then, so when that dropped, and I think it dropped hard, I think people did take notice. I think people were like, oh my gosh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I think the trailer did a great job at capturing people's imaginations for a show that no one was that bothered about. They just were sleeping on it.
Yeah.
Pete, I'm just going to come to you for a second, because what you see in these teasers and then the main trailers, they're all very much choreographed and sort of and put together wonderfully with music. Now, with regards to Star Wars music, and the themes have come and gone, we've had various different things, and all based a lot around John Williams, but as Disney have come in and kept with John and then moved over to others, talk to me about the music of Andor.
Yeah, it's quite different, but it just we mentioned a little while back that the attention to detail and just the richness, and I think just the music. And obviously, I've watched Andor quite a few times, but not as much as the original trilogy. So those themes are just in your head, but just sort of pulling together stuff for this show and just sort of digging deeper actually into music and separating it from the actual visual kind of treat that Andor is, you realise how good the music is, and you just start listening to it. So what's different? Like, obviously, a lot of original Star Wars is more orchestral and traditional orchestra, but a lot of Andor is electronic music, and a lot of synthesizers are being used throughout, which is pretty new for Star Wars. But you've also got, there's so many themes in there, but they also develop throughout the season. So everyone has a theme, or the main key characters have a theme, but they all seem to move throughout the show, and there's a story going on throughout there. So, and it's just how different it can be. You've got sort of like almost like club tracks in some of it at the start, in the Niamos tune that sort of changes throughout on different parts. But you've also got the time grappler we were talking about. That was almost like some industrial techno going on there, and you've got, it's all comes through in the soundtrack as well. And there's two versions of it. So you've got a regular vinyl one, which I think has got about 18 tracks on it, but there's also a downloadable a digital file you can get for the soundtrack with like 92 tracks on it, which has got the entire show in order. So it's all done in order, so you can just go through it as the scenes, and that just shows you how much it's kind of developing. It's a quite different end of the show. And it's just incredible. Just kind of getting on board with this on the last few days as we've sort of been focusing on the show. It's I've sort of downloaded it and just sort of going through it, but you think, wow, I never picked up on how much there was in it. And you've got, it's good, even down to sort of the Canary scenes where you've got the more sort of primal sounds, and you just know it's just very rich, very good. So it's all put together by Nicholas Britell, who is young, so he knows his classical music history. He's also into hip hop, so you've got this kind of really new sort of contemporary take on a Star Wars soundtrack, which absolutely works. But he's sort of just going through some of the stuff he's done. Pretty incredible. He did Vice, Battle of the Sexes, Cruella, She Said, and the one I'm most familiar with is the soundtrack to Succession, which, if you know that show, that the soundtrack to that is incredibly good, and it works with all the characters. It just works with that show. It absolutely sort of says it all. So it's good. I'm trying to find some stuff on the new show on Andor 2, but as with the trailer, it's pretty hard. Slim pickings online to see what's going on, but hopefully they must have him back on board to do the second season.
Very nice. What do you think about it?
I mean, it's different, and it needed to be different, right?
Mm-hmm.
It works. It's great. It's good, as Star Wars music should be. You know, like when George said of, you know, John Williams, he's the secret sauce. Star Wars music is important, and I think it's lovely. I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. I think there's just moments throughout though where the music really raises the state. I mean, the final episode, the funeral procession, the music in that, and how that builds the tension up, and how it crescendos out at the end of the reckoning when Luthen and Cassian are escaping on the field, and you've got across the field, you've got the main Andor theme, but they put drums over the top of it, and it just sounds brilliant. And yeah, there's so many musical moments in it. I was really surprised how good the music was, especially when you go back, like Pete said, and listen to it in isolation. It really doesn't. I think I said in our chat, it's almost like John Williams meets Hans Zimmer at certain points, where they are bringing in the other instruments and giving it that extra edge.
Were they playing a lot of music on the set? I've sort of read that a few times online. They were actually playing music.
Yeah, they did. I was there for the funeral procession scenes, actually. Yeah, they gave the prop team a wodge of instruments and said, Star Warsify these. So it was like, how many greebles can we stick on this before you can't play it anymore? and yeah, they did. They marched back and forth all day, and the cameras just moved through them and recorded them, and yeah, it was a thing. And the music was playing, like when they weren't playing, it was playing through speakers as well, just having it on, you know.
Just got those vibes, yeah, incredible.
I think the music is great. It certainly adds tension, adds fear, panic, everything like that. And as you say, that is it Nomos, where the music's playing there. I think it's the same theme, it's the same music which is playing when he first enters the brothel. When he right at the beginning of episode 1. I think that tune is also playing in the background. So in world, it's top 10 being streamed online or something or other. It's a popular one in world at that time. But what's weird about it is because we want to not be critical or this, that and the other, but apply balance to it. Whilst I really do appreciate the music, I can't think of, apart from the Rick's Road thing, I can't hum any of it in my head. Maybe that's a really, really old-fashioned thing, but even on Force Awakens, even after the first watch, I was just thinking, oh, right, that's how Rey's theme goes. That's how Kylo Ren's theme goes. And I think I was so used to themes, and I can't think about any. I can't put my finger on. I can't say that's Andor's theme like I can with Leia and Luke and anything like that. I'm sure that he has one if it's not the opening credits music, and that. But obviously,
because the opening credit music changes. I think it changes each week, doesn't it? It's slightly bigger and bolder and darker and scarier every week.
Yeah, so someone said it. You can put them all together to form like a piece. I think I'd heard in the past, but yeah, I have heard that. But I don't know. It just feels like I can't say, yeah, that's that person's tune or that's that particular melody. But I do think it works, and it works really well.
I think it's like the show. It's subtle. Like it isn't quick pull a lightsaber and shoot him with a blaster. It isn't that. It isn't a rousing score. It's there and it's doing its job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But you'll know, Jez, if you listen to it, you'll know it. You'll know every track and you'll picture it. Like there's a B2MO track, when he's just walking, he's going along on his own, and those two two dogs run at him. There's a real little quirky little track that they play with that, and it's just perfect. When you hear it, you'll be like, "Yep, know that."
Love that little thread.
Yeah.
I want there to be far more B2 emo merch. Like Lucasfilm dropped the ball. Where's my B2 emo merch all over the place?
Yeah.
Cassian, I brought what you did.
When Andor, came out from both fans and critics alike, I think people could look at this now and say, yeah, actually, it's gone down very, very well. Now, we've said, you know, it's never going to be for everyone. There are some people who are saying, no, it didn't feel like Star Wars, or it didn't feel like this. Or some people were maybe it wasn't fast paced enough for them. And I think nowadays, when I think about what I see around, and people are used to the sort of, not the TikTok generation. When you go to the cinema, you would often get someone like John Boyega saying, right, everyone, put down your phone, just concentrate on this, that, and the other. And I do think sometimes when we're watching television at home, it's very easy for people to be distracted with their phone. And it's almost like at the beginning of some of these Disney Plus shows, which so much has been invested in, you almost want John Boyega saying, put down your phone and just commit, because it is one of those ones where you do need to concentrate, you do need to pay attention, because there's so much there. And some people, were lost along the way, but majority of people I've surrounded myself with or spoken to absolutely adore this. Dan, from an awards point of view, and I know very, very recently I saw something online as well, what's Andor been nominated for or picked up?
Yeah, they got nominated. Andor got nominated for many awards.
Thank you. Critics' Choice, the Super Award, which sounds fantastic. A tip of the hat to Stranger Things, who we're sharing this with. I would like to thank Lucasfilm for starting this, Disney for paying for it and backing our play and gambling on it really hard and supporting us all the way. I'd like to thank the 1,400 people who are working in Pinewood today, many of whom were on season 1, they're working on bringing home season 2. And most of all, I'd like to thank you for affirming our work and reminding us that there's people out there who are paying attention to what we're doing. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
I counted over 50 different nominations, and I think of that they won at least 10% of those. So they had a fairly good hit rate. I think there was 7 Emmys, 6 Saturn Awards, and the most recent of those was earlier this month. It won an award for the Steelbook Blu-ray that came out that we've been talking about through the show. So yeah, they actually won an award for the Blu-ray. But then
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it won a Saturn Award just over the beginning of the month, beginning of Feb. Also, I see your friend Luke was nominated as well for an award for the show.
Yeah, I hope he gets the Emmy for season 2. Genuinely, and I think it's tough because often people see Star Wars or fantasy or whatever and just they don't get it or don't take it serious. I genuinely think that, but his work, his level of detail, his dedication, his eye, his ideas, he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great. Season 2's hot.
But when you look at the spread of awards it was nominated for, it's not like for one particular thing. It's not like it got nominated just for being a good TV show. I mean, every area, the individual actors, like you say, set design, graphic, all of that, everything. It was across the board. It was seen as award worthy, at least not for a nomination. I think for season 2, just going back to what we were talking about before about how some people were turned off by the show. I mean, I think the reasons for that are quite very. I mean, if you watch those first 3 episodes, and as good as they are, and as much as I enjoyed it, there is no. At the end of it, going, well, where's the Empire? Because you don't see any Imperial activity in those first 3 episodes at all, and you're like, well, what's happening with this show? I've got a dozen guys running around in what look like Bespin security guards, and that's as close to Star Wars as you get. And I think the people that stuck with it were rewarded. But it is that, and I do fear it is we're going to be back in that world of for the next 3 months, so we're going to get 1 episode a week, and I just find that so frustrating. But being able to watch it at your leisure, like binge watch a whole arc or binge watch 2 arcs, is so much more rewarding than piecemealing it out week to week. And I really wish Disney would just go bang, there you go, have it, enjoy it. And I get it. I mean, but you look at Netflix, the Christmas Squid Game, boom, the whole thing. know if you're a fan of Squid Game or not, but you could sit and watch the whole of Squid Game, and I find that a much more, as a viewer, a much more, you can consume it at your leisure. I think with Star Wars, certainly if it's a show like Andor, or even the first couple of seasons of Mandalorian, if you're on Facebook or anything like that, if you haven't seen it in the first 24 hours, you're getting it spoiled for you. You can't.
Yeah, that's true. I do hate that. But Skeleton Crew dropped one a week, and I really liked Skeleton Crew. I liked it a lot, and I was like, oh, today's Skeleton Crew Day, which was like a feeling I had when I was a kid. That I quite enjoyed it, but because this isn't a secret. Tony's been very open about this. That this season 2, has the blocks of 3, which season 1 did, but that was almost. I don't think that was as planned as season 2 is. It's very much an arc, and I do wonder if they'll drop an arc, so we'll get 3 eps. I do wonder. I have no knowledge. I just wonder.
I saw that online, and they've even blocked the directors together, haven't they? So it's like the directors have got, right, this arc is going to be that director, and this arc is that one. So it is one vision directed by one person as well.
Yeah, and this isn't breaking secrets. Like Tony's come out and said this. It's 3 eps and then like a time jump. 3 eps and a time jump.
Yeah.
So it's functionally like 4 mini movies. Is actually how it is.
Yeah, because I've read originally that when obviously Tony took over, it was still down as being potentially a 5-season show. But when they realised it was going to take 2.5, 3 years to produce each season, it wasn't going to fly.
No, that is true.
Take like 15 years to make all 5 shows.
Yeah.
So,
the first show Bible I got, that it was down as 5 seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
and I was
there's
like,
an element
wow.
already that Diego needs a touch of de-aging in some respects. Yeah. So we're going to have, another awesome series, and I guess the whole point of this show, the show that we're doing now, this one and the 4 arcs and then the wrap-up show, will be that refresh for people who've seen it in the past. And just bringing them up to speed again, because it's always great whenever there's a season 2 that they do an element of a recap. But I mean, what I found with Andor is, yes, I've had repeated viewings. I've gone back and watched Mandalorian. I've gone back and I've watched Kenobi and various different ones. Some not so much, but Andor is the one which I think I'm now on my 4th or 5th, particularly for this, and getting everything ready for this show. I think I've seen it 4 or 5 times, and as much as I love Mandalorian, I've not seen that 4 or 5 times. So this is, for me, the show where I get more and more each and every time. So the hope is that with these shows as well, we might sort of appeal to maybe some of our listeners who did sort of, run out of patience with it, or not see it through to the finish of episode 3. And I think of the 4 arcs, I think the first one was probably the weakest, slowest, as you said, Dan, because it's just like, come on, what's going on with this? Even though the sort of crescendo of episode 3 was really, really good.
Just to say, and I know you mentioned at the start, Jez, about us recording, not having done a kind of an Andor show previously, and we've done many of the others. I'm really glad that we've done it this way, though, because I think my thoughts on Andor are probably a lot different now to what they were if we'd have recorded it back in 2022, just because the way that it was presented initially in that kind of weekly format, to be able to go and review it as individual arcs and stories, and is a lot more I'll be a lot more positive maybe than I would have been otherwise, just because of that aspect of it, because it was, I found so frustrating. But I'm really pleased we're doing it this way,
because it doesn't have that last scene Game of Thrones-ness where it's like, oh my gosh, it just doesn't have that. It never had that. Like, that's just not how Tony wrote it. He's got this whole story in his head, and it's just, we happen to have breaks because that's how it works. But
and I think Jez pointed them out yesterday. I think they've done some fan edits of the episode arcs and created mini movies.
Really?
Yeah, because we was looking at the we was trying to decide what to call each of the arcs, and I've just found some titles that I think they've been given to some fan films they've put together.
Yeah, so it's true. I mean, we were looking at this because episode 1 just does finish so abruptly. It's just like, oh wow, credits. Oh, I didn't see that come in.
Yeah.
But again, the thing is, when this was released, they did drop episodes 1, 2, and 3 at the same time. And it was probably almost like they just thought, yeah, I don't think episode 1 on its own is enough to get people 7 days later going, hey, let's see how that turns out. Let's put on episode 2, because a lot can happen in a week. So I think it was possibly, you know, they knew exactly what they had. Let's drop episode 1, 2, and 3 together. But yeah, okay. So let's talk about these arcs then. So the first one, we were thinking about, right, okay, so what would you give, Barry, if we said to you, what would you call that first arc? How could you sum it up?
Oh, is it the Ferrix? Is it the Preox Morlana? Because it is all about like the notion that Preox Morlana messes up so bad that it invites the Imperials to come in and go, cool, we're taking over.
Yeah.
But then the last one could be the... I just... Welcome to Ferrix. I'm calling it the Welcome to Ferrix.
You're right, because it is a Ferrix sandwich, isn't there? So, I mean, if you just thought about the first one, if you want to keep Ferrix out of the title, what we'd seen online, and I think works quite nicely, and it's a little bit like the man from Del Monte, but it's the man from Canary, or you know, you could call it something like that. And just to sum it up, I would say that the first arc of Andor Season 1 is a recruitment arc, which includes the first 3 episodes of the show. This arc sets up the rest of the season by establishing the consequences of events that happen in the first few minutes of episode 1. It's possibly the slowest arc of the series, but it sets the scene and tone really well. The world building is very good, and quickly you get to see that Andor is a person of questionable character, I would say, because, you know, he's not your archetypal hero, is he? He's not your sort of Luke with the sort of sweeping sunset and rousing music. This is someone who, as you see through that first arc, owes people money, lets people down, does this, does that, does appear to be very much a man who's, according to his mates, has been in it for himself a little bit more. So probably, yeah, the slowest of the arcs, but exceptionally well written, exceptionally well shot, so much attention into it. But yeah, the man from Canary.
Put the entire town at risk and now there's Imperials on the street.
If Tim had kept his mouth shut.
If this, if that. If you, if me, if Tim.
We were doing a deal, you
You scam. You borrow. You lie. You disappear.
Your crazy boyfriend tries to get me killed, and I'm the villain.
You need to get as far away from here as you can.
Peter, you got the second arc?
I've got it down as the first mission. Did we come up with that, or has that been on? Has that been
I go with the mission, the heist. Let's call it the mission, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's the first time, as far as we know, he's kind of with other people and doing it for maybe a greater good, which maybe he doesn't know yet. But he's being introduced to the rebellion, and I guess everything we hear up until then, he's just been doing it for himself and for cash. And I guess that's his first introduction to doing something with a crew. So yeah, we start off with the Aldani mission, and it's just introducing all of that group he's with is great, and the characters are really strong there. And as they slowly build, and as they see more of him, that's a kind of a great sort of character building part of this second arc in itself. And then you get through to the actual heist itself, which is just incredible, just to build up to that, and the ultimate payoff at the end when you see them sort of piloting up and heading out of the Alkenzi base towards trying to catch up with them. So that's the main sort of part of that second arc. But other key things you've got going on, you've got the ISB. Is that the first thing? I think it's the first time you see them, and that whole kind of building of Miro, Blevin, and Partagaz as well. Those relationships and the dialogue between those guys is quite something. And as you sort of build it, and as they take interest in what's happened in Ferrix, and they start sort of thinking, is there an underground plot going on here? And yeah, and just the Luthen character moving over to Coruscant, so you see the different side to him, as we've discussed, coming off the ship, is an incredible scene. And you see him and Mon Mothma gets introduced in this part as well. So there's so much going on, and then poor old Syril gets stripped of his role and sent back to Coruscant. So yeah, it's just incredible, more character building, and just it gets a bit more lively, and that heist is pretty special.
But I've had nothing to do with this.
Well, exactly.
It took the combined ingredients of idiocy, ineptitude, and total disengagement for this farce to have reached the full apex of incredulous disaster. Seriously?
Yeah, the eye indeed. Yeah, no, great. Thank you very much. So, right, we've had the man from Kenari, we've had the heist, so much involved in that, loads more characters being introduced and relationships. Dan?
So yeah, arc 3 then, we've called this the sentence. So yeah, maybe the best arc, also known as the I can't even say it, the Narkina 5 arc, where at the beginning of that, Andor is hiding out after the Aldani heist. He looks like he's in a hotel room with a hot babe and goes out to, I don't know if he's going out to buy a newspaper or drinks or what. He gets arrested. For nothing really, just pulled up on the street, taken to court and sentenced to 6.5 years, and sent off to Narkina 5, where he meets Kino Loy. Melchi's there as well, another returning character from Rogue One, and then manufacturing Death Star parts, it turns out at the end. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it. They are it's a really I know we've spoken loads about the design and stuff, but again, this prison is superb, and they should build them in the UK. I think, open doors. They've got floors that if you step out of your cell, you're going to get electrocuted. It's very very clinical and clean, and these guys are under the thumb of the Empire. And I think it becomes apparent through those episodes that they aren't getting away. And I think it's Andor's first experience of being a leader and of rebellion. It's kind of like a mini revolution that happens in the prison. And they escape at the end, or most of them do. Kino can't swim, so we'll have to wait to find out what's happened to him. Hopefully, we'll find out it's season 2. Hey, Baz?
I shall stay silent.
But yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of it, Jez. I was going to keep it really short and just say he gets arrested and then he escapes. So, but yeah, I thought I'd pad it out a bit more than that.
It is. It's one of those things where I think, looked at what happened at Rogue One. That final scene in Rogue One where Vader's going down the corridor. You've got the rebels with the stolen plans, and they're desperately trying to get the plans away. And I've seen fans and super fans recreating that at Star Wars Celebration, and that's been great fun. Now, this scene in this arc, one way out, they're getting out, the Narkina 5, the outfits, people are now cosplaying as that and having takeovers at Star Wars Celebration, which is just brilliant. The enthusiasm for this particular arc, I think, is off the charts. And it was done so well with such exceptional talent and vision. It's I think for a lot of people this is the favourite one. Baz, what are your thoughts on this one?
It was a bit bonkers. We were building all this around the time. Forgive me, I'm not a football guy. I'm an American football guy. Was it the Euros or the World Cup or whatever was going on in 2021 or whatever? And all the construction crews and the chippies were all out watching football and getting COVID. So couldn't build the set.
Yeah.
And it was getting closer and closer and closer to the point where I've never been on a set like it. Normally you have construction come in, then sparks will be and painters might be. There's like a project managed staged sort of sequence of who goes in when.
Mm-hmm.
But all that went out the window. And they were building it while they were painting it, while we were putting boxes on it, while we were sticking graphics on it, while they were rigging it. Like, it was chaos. I've never seen that many people on one stage.
Wow.
It was bonkers. And the set was massive. So that set was crazy. And Tim Wildgoose is the prop model maker boss. And Luke was insistent from the day one that the tools worked and did the thing and the table did the thing. And Tim and his guys are just brilliant and just made that happen.
It is really when you see him building them, it's and I was watching the behind the scenes stuff as well. They weren't messing around.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was those bits like the Death Star sort of bolts thing.
Yeah,
I don't know how many they made of those. There was more than you see, I think. And there were some that were could move and be things, and there were some that were just blocks that sat on the trolleys that never had to move, And then the trolleys were meant to go to a central bit. There's a whole Like Luke had this mapped out and all drawn, but you don't see everything that was designed. You know, the whole system. They had it in place in their minds. But this, I think, Narkina is one of those ones that was a napkin drawing with him and like Tony and Sana and Bo and Luke just chilling out and chatting.
You heard me. No one's getting out, are they? Not now. Not after this. At least your friend is free.
You two, on program now. Up, hands on your heads. Move. Let's go, come on, let's go. Now. Let's go.
How many guards on each level? Never more than 12.
Loads on the third arc and loads for us to discuss when we come back to the third arc in 3 more shows' time. So I certainly hope you're on for that one, Buzz. Now, the final arc, you know, how would one describe that then? So we've said, you know, is it another Ferrix? I mean, for me, this is all about Rick's Road. This is all about the sort of the decisions made, the losses. So the heist has been done. The escape, managed to get away with Melchi, but he's heard a message that, you know, his mother has passed away. He needs to get back to Ferrix, and now it's about traps. It's about double traps. It's about it's about people trapping him. About sort of also, I'm trying to think about a double cross almost between, you know, what's going on with Luthen there as well. What's going to happen? Who's he up against? The ISB closing the net on him. And the funeral of the daughter of Ferrix, Marva. That whole thing which builds and builds and builds the tension. And as we've then said about the music, the really somber music, with all the people from Ferrix being led out by B2MO as well, and with Marva's brick, and then another one of these terrific monologues, you know, another one of these sort of statements, narrations, speeches, if you will. It's just a great end to this show, but with Andor just completely at a loss. And one of his lines, his last sort of line to Luthen, right at the end, when they get together, he just says, "Kill me, take me in, or kill me." And it just goes to show sort of how lost he is from a sort of personal point of view. You know, he's one of his lines, I think, from Rogue One was, "You're not the only one who lost everything. Some of us have just decided to do something about it." You know, and it's the sort of culmination of this change of character and how things have gone. You know, we see some of our heroes. We see Bix, who's just been terribly tortured, you know, coming together and then just getting away. But Rick's Road it sets up season 2 wonderfully. It really, really does. And to think, you know, to have bookended the series like that with Ferrix at the beginning and Ferrix at the end, there's loads of tension. You just see that moment where Marva says, "Fight the Empire," and how it all just kicks off with double crosses and everything else. I just think, yeah, it's really, really good, but it really gets me in the feels as well. It's one of those, when the music changes, you always get the hairs on your arm sticking up a little bit, and that's when I know I'm invested so much in that show.
You know that "Fight the Empire" wasn't the original line.
I've heard that, and I guess a lot of people, you know, I've heard it several times about there was a different expletive used, you know, instead of "Fight the Empire."
Well, watch her lips move and tell me that she's not saying that.
Right. Okay.
We'll talk about it when we do the show.
Yeah.
I think it was a swear, but I don't have, because I get the scripts, but you don't get them. They're all digital, and you have to log into a special thing to see it. So, which I can't do right now because I'm not on Andor. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So I can't check it for you, so I don't know. But
yeah,
I do. I think it was.
I'm sure you're right, but I'm just like, I don't. Sometimes, you get swear words in Star Wars, and I'm not sure if it cheapens it or takes me out the moment slightly. I know that that she refers to them with the B word. She calls them bastards and stuff, and you hear a bit more swearing in The Last Jedi. I don't know. I'm glad she didn't, because
I'm with you. I'm with you. It breaks it a little, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah. Why did we have 6-7 movies where we didn't have anything like that, and now all of a sudden we are? It's like, well, we got by without it. So, and that's the world which we're in, and that's the world which we've accepted. And so I don't know why they start adding to it like that. I think it was very powerful as it was. That speech of hers I could just listen to often, very much like Luthans and Kinos and Nemix, and just brilliant writing.
Tony's good, right? I mean there's the other guys with him as well, but he's very. One thing with Marva, I think that I don't know if people talk about it a lot, but I think a lot of shows would have shown her dying. But we don't see it. You don't need to. You just have that lovely moment where he just they're in that tunnel and he sort of puts his arms on him. He's like, she's gone, and her big moment is that hologram. It's like she's not dead. That's how it feels,
Yeah. Well, I think it's really clever because you see it through the eyes of her droid, because he's there. First of all, the camera is coming out of his little viewfinder. He's shuddering and he doesn't it's like he doesn't want to believe it. And really, really well done.
Let's try and get some air in here. We're going to have to get rid of that bedding. We'll save it for Cassia. Okay. She would have wanted it that way. It's heartbreaking. What about the droid?
We're going to take her out in a minute, if you want to say goodbye. I'll have them clear the room, if you want to be alone.
I don't want to be alone. I want Mama Marva.
So we've got our 4...
And that brick.
Yeah.
Then he goes bonkers with the brick. Love that.
Yeah, and then Brasso bricks someone up, which is great to see. So we've broken down series 1 into the 4 arcs. We're going to go into them in a lot more detail, 1 episode per arc, which I'm really, really looking forward to going through. But at this stage, and even from memory, if it's been a while since you've seen the shows, if you got one scene or one particular bit from the entire series which you think, do you know what? Yeah, that's my current standout, my current favourite one.
Oh, there's so many. I remember sort of digging out some notes when we looked at this before, and I think it's a long list, but I think one that just stands out in terms of it's got everything. It's dialogue, action, just stuff. Even the people who don't like this series but like Star Wars cannot argue that this is a fantastic scene. But when Luthen escapes from the tractor beam,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, that was in my top 3.
That's got to be in top 5 Star Wars scenes of all time, hasn't it? Jesus, it's so good. Just got everything. Just the dialogue, the calmness, just the quick thinking, the sort of double-bladed, sort of Darth Maul-esque kind of like laser beams that come out and take out the other 2 TIE fighters, and then into hyperspace, and you just leave the whole deck of the Imperial ship just like, what? What happened? Yeah, that's a step out for me, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So Dan said that's what I was going to ask. I'm going to give Dan a little bit of breathing space.
Oh no, I've got another one. I've already mentioned it, but the scene at the end of the Reckoning where Luthen's escaping with Andor, and it's kind of a montage. They go across these fields, and it just looks superb. And they get on the Thunder, and and as they're taking off, it's intercutting back to when he was a boy and he was escaping Canary with with Marva and Clem.
Yeah.
And it's cutting back. I think it's meant to show. I'm not sure it's a rebirth. Is it a start or end of a new chapter? But he's thinking of that when he was escaping Canary. And I love the music, the way the like I mentioned before, the drums kick in on the Andor theme. It's brilliant.
There's so many levels to that, isn't it? You say, rebirth, taking them from out of danger from one planet to another, the start of a new chapter, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, brilliant. What about you then, Baz?
Every time I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see.
God, yeah.
Like, that was so good. I love that. I love how the set looks. I love the little twinkling lights. I love his cape blowing in the wind. I love the lift. That lift panel was my favourite. The lift outdoor panels and the panel indoors, they were my favourite panels I did on season 1. I just love it.
Yeah.
Stellan Skarsgård is great. Lonnie is great, just listening and going, what have I walked into?
Yeah.
It's just great. I love that scene so much. And what he says is real.
Yeah. And when he pauses and just like screams everything, it's just really, really powerful. Yeah, awesome.
I still think, and I'm gonna hang my hat on this. I still think that Luthen is a Jedi. I'll leave it there. There's loads of conspiracy, but I honestly I can't wait to see season 2. If he's not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But I'm convinced if you read that speech and other little things that happen through that show, I'm still convinced he's a Jedi, and he's pissed that, if you read, you know he's pissed, but if you read the dialogue and what he says about I see nothing now but ghosts and all, he's talking about he's lost all his love and he's I haven't got the words in front of me now, but it just makes me think that he's talking about the tools of his enemies, the dark side, and I don't know, something's just not adding up for me.
Okay. I mean,
Baz, am I right or wrong?
That would be great. I mean, there are some character traits there which, if you watched, say, episode 2, Attack of the Clones, it'd be like, well, that's just, that isn't in a Jedi's character. Some of the character traits that he's demonstrated.
Got to use the tools of his enemy.
Yeah, and he's quite ruthless. I mean, Nemec was starting to say, well, we need to sort of match like for like when it comes to fighting our enemies. But is that a Jedi trait? Who knows?
If Obi-Wan came out of hiding and went, "Hey everyone, I'm a Jedi. Follow me. We'll destroy the Empire," he'd be dead in minutes, hours. You've got to take a different tact. You've got to go, right, how did the Emperor do the things that he did? And he's employing a lot of the Emperor's tactics. And he says at one point, he says something about 15 years ago, which 15 years ago it would have been the birth of the Empire, but it would have also been the Jedi Purge. So I'm still thinking that he's a Jedi.
Maybe.
And that cane that he's carrying around looks very much like a lightsaber.
Oh, I was going to say that. Yeah. Because, he there was definite focus on him taking that cane there, and doesn't need it so much in the comfort of his shop. But yeah,
Got the cape and
yeah, a cape. You're right. Good spot. So let's not put Baz on the spot with that and move on rapidly.
He knows none of this. He's not to be trusted. Smile.
There you are. Reminiscing, are we? School days? Are we that predictable?
Wonderful to see so many just great scenes. I mean, we could wax about this all night long, but we're not going to. We're going to save that for the next shows, exceptional shows, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's taken us a while to do these Andor shows, but now it is the time. We are going to totally get back on the horse, and this is going to work wonderfully with the release of Andor season 2. Baz, I'm so grateful that you've been able to join us on this. I'm so delighted for you that you've been involved in season 2, and I hope you get to work with Lucasfilm a lot more in the future. Due to be released on the 22nd/23rd of April. Again, 22nd in the US and 23rd for all of us over here, and I can't wait. I do wonder if we're going to get some special sneak peeks whilst we're at Star Wars Celebration for those of us who are going. That could be pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, you are. I mean,
yeah, it's gonna be ace.
I'm still hoping that Luke gets invited, and I've said I'll be your bag boy.
Yes, that'd be good. Yeah, well, yeah. We'll just wait and see what happens. But until then, for the rest of the shows, what we're going to be doing is, we are, rather than going through it in a sort of chronological journey of exactly what happens in each episode, StarWars.com have got a really, really great thing online where they've got their 5 key highlights from each episode. And we're just going to go through those and reflect on those, and it's going to build up into each and every one of the arcs. So the first arc, which we've already said is, the man from Canary, will be our next show. Following that, it'll be the heist or the mission, as Peter called it. That will be the following show. And then on the heels of that, about a week or so later, we'll be releasing the Narkina 5, the escape. What Dan mentioned is the what do you call it, Dan? The sentence. The sentence. And then our penultimate show will be Rick's Road. And then after that, we are going to have one of our committee shows where, after having gone through all of the shows, we're going to be once again coming up with Generation Skywalker top 10 Andor moments. It's going to be great. Really, really looking forward to it. I absolutely adore this show, and I think you've got the message that most of us here do.
She told me you'd say all this. Tell him none of this is his fault. It was already burning. He's just the first spark of the fire. Tell him he knows everything he needs to know and feels everything he needs to feel. And when the day comes that those two pull together, he will be an unstoppable force for good. Tell him I love him more than anything he could ever do wrong.
Well, I just want to say thanks ever so much, Stu, Dan, and Pete for joining it. As you all always do. But Baz, it's been brilliant. I really, really hope you can join us on some of the next shows. I know you're a busy man, but if you're able to, it would be absolutely brilliant, mate.
No, I'd love to. Thanks for having me. It's fun. I love talking Star Wars, man.
Brilliant. So, Baz, thanks very much indeed. See you next time. And it's goodbye from Dan.
My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to podcast, they've set me down the path from which there is no escape.
There you go. Follow that. It's goodbye from Peter.
I can't follow that, but yeah. Great to have you on, Baz. Good night, everyone.
And it's goodbye from Stu.
You've done well, Lord Jez.
And it's goodbye from me. We are Generation Skywalker. All eras, all passions, all Star Wars.